Hello YouTube pipe community. OTC Piper here with a little chat in this late hour, as it is right now, probably close to 2 a.m. Got to get back to my night shift schedule, so I'll be staying up till the morning so I can sleep through the day and get ready to go to work tomorrow night. I was looking through my cellar trust, trying to find something a little bit different. I've been enjoying a lot of my codger blends, and I still find myself going to those tried and true blends more often than not. And I remembered some time ago, I think I even mentioned it briefly in a video, that I went to my local brick and mortar, who's got a bunch of, a whole wall of bulk blends, and every now and then I like to go in there and just create a mix. And a couple months ago, I went in there. I just wanted to create a aromatic English, which there are a handful of blends out there that fall into that category. But I kind of wanted to put my own little tweak, my own little design on it. So I've had it cellaring in the jar for a couple of months now. Figured, well, now's as good a time as any to get it out and put some content out on my channel. I was thinking I was going to get a lot more done on my little staycation that I've enjoyed. But I just found that, I found my time, more spent with my family, or just catching up on some reading, or just relaxing. And like I said, I meant to get more out, but I shall do so now. This one is, it's a blend of 5 different mixes. I just do equal parts when I'm dealing with, when you're selling it by the ounce or whatever. It's just easier to go up to the counter and order it that way, and I just had it all put into one bag. It's going to be equal parts of pure latakia, whiskey blend, an almond blend, a black coffee blend, and caramel blend all together. Now, I don't know exactly what brands these are. All of his bulk are from the, either Lane Limited, still could be Sutliff, or a few of them are McBaron's. I don't think any of these are McBaron's, though. He's only got a few of those. So I just did equal parts of these. And, if any tweaking needs to happen, it could be done at a later time. But I'm going to go ahead and light some up. I have some hot tea going now in place of my usual coffee. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But I've already loaded some up in my Country Gentleman. Move this out of the way of the camera. Okay. Before I made this video, I did take some time I smoked a bowl because I wanted to take some notes down, so I can actually have had some time to analyze and maybe go over in more detail what I'm getting. The jar note, and I'll take another pass at it just to make sure something else doesn't come up. The jar note, as I have it in here, has the strong latakia presence with the sweet note of the caramel. That's what I'm getting from that one. In the pipe, as it smokes, the latakia sits delightfully present in the background, which is kind of what I was going for. I have a lot of other English or latakia type blends. That's very prevalent in the latakia, and I like that. Outside of my dime store blends or my OTC blends, I really like a good latakia. It mixes things up once in a while. As far as the almond, I don't think that one was really heavily cased. I think that one's more of a nutty burley. It probably has, if it has a casing, it's a light casing. But getting that strong nuttiness of the burley in the mix. And the coffee comes through in the retrohale. That obviously is the topping, but I'm getting that in the retrohale. I thought I would get that more in the tin note or in the jar note, but I haven't. You know, whiskey seems to be more of a condiment. I'm not getting anything in the jar note or in the smoke that's where the whiskey really jumps out. I think it's one of those things you would probably recognize its absence. It's kind of the same with the caramel, except for the fact that I got it in the jar note. I think in the smoke, I'm getting more of the latakia, black coffee, and the almond. You know, whiskey and the caramel, I think definitely add their little piece to it, but it's subtle. But overall, I'm pleased with it. I've actually, just for my own sake, so I can know in the future, and I even gave the recipe, or wrote down the list for the storekeeper there to, I think it was Rhonda there at the time, so she could keep it in the back for me, so if I ever forgot what it is, if I wanted to build it again, or other customers might want to try it out. I kind of told the story about the My Mix, the Dunhill My Mixture 965, and thought, you know, I haven't seen a brick and mortar in my time ever do that, where they keep a log of different blends that other customers do that others could be free to look at and peruse and try out themselves. I don't know if that's ever going to happen or not, but nevertheless, she has the list with it. I could tweak it. I'm not sure how I would at this time. When I went in there and got the mix of all of them together, I just really wanted to do an English that's, you know, a little aromatic, maybe a little something different. I think as I smoke on this amount that I have here, obviously 5 ounces, about an ounce of each one. See if this match will stay lit for me. Got my fan going right now. Hope the clatter from the fan isn't disturbing. But as I smoke on this one, I'll kind of pick and choose where how I want to tweak it, but I may not. I like the room note as well, as much of it as I can get. So, anyways, now that we got that done, staycation here is over. I've been off for a good 7 days straight. Only 2 of those are days that I would have had to have worked. I just strategically took off the 2 days in between 2 groups of days off so that I could maximize on my time. You know, I've enjoyed my time, just getting a chance to take a break. You know, it's been over a year since I've been with the department, and I haven't really taken any considerable time off. I felt maybe I'll go ahead and do that, you know, so the last few days of summer I could spend with my daughter, and my wife has already had to go back. She had 1 day of my staycation she was off, but by that time, you know, she's already well into thinking in terms of the next school year as a teacher and all. So my daughter goes back on Wednesday. But fall's coming, and that's probably my favorite time of year. Not only does it have, hunting season, which I'm an avid outdoorsman, but it's also, and probably more importantly as the days go by, a good gigging season for me. I try to get out and do some gigs and everything when I can, out and about. For years, coming up on 30 years, I've been a musician. Me and my wife lead worship at our church, and that's only part of my musical expression. I'm continuing a project I've had now for a little over a year, I would say, maybe a couple of years. Writing a album, if you want to call it. Not that I'm going out for record deals or anything like that. I just started about a songwriting that I just need to continue, and getting started in this career kind of has monopolized a lot of my time and concentration. But I'm started out as more of a folk acoustic guitarist, and went down many paths to realize now that from rock, blues, jazz, all that kind of thing, just to realize that my roots in folk acoustic music is really where I have the most joy, and that I enjoy playing the most. So I've kind of gone back to that now. Fingerstyle acoustic, that kind of thing. And I started doing this project based out of my frustration with the mainstream music and where it's headed, and thinking back on all the great artists. So many of them are so memorable and thought of even today, and I got to thinking some of these fly-by-night acts that are selling quick hits and everything, may not even be remembered in a decade, and you got some that are several decades in the past and are still remembered. So I'm going to start working on that as often as I can, trying to get that completed, and might do something with it. I just want to get it protected and everything like that once it's written. So once I get that done, we'll see what happens with it. But more or less, I just wanted to start writing and make some recordings of some of the stuff that I've done, for my daughter and all that. That's kind of why I've gone to some hot tea. I still drink coffee a lot, but as I'm trying to, knock the dust off my voice and my chops and everything like that, the high amounts of caffeine have always been strenuous on my voice and everything. So I'll still be drinking coffee a lot, but I'm going to try to put some hot teas or herbal teas somewhere in the mix, just to cut down on some of the massive amounts of caffeine I take in. So I had a carafe of coffee earlier. Figured I would try some hot tea for a little while. But yeah, this the project that I'm working on is more about finding your way home. You venture out to try to accomplish this or that, and then you sometimes realize that the true happiness and fulfillment's right at home where you left it, and that's kind of where I am with music, kind of coming back to my folk acoustic roots, and maybe talk some more about that on another video. Might even do a contemplations video on it for my contemplation series. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing this whole week, and wanted to go over this blend. I don't have a whole lot more to say. Tonight I got a few more hours. I'll be up and around, maybe picking around on my guitar or reading some. I've enjoyed getting to read quite a bit, so it's coming up on 15 minutes, and don't want to monopolize your time too much. But I will say this: I'm thinking about tomorrow when I go in, doing a going live for a little while. It's kind of like a live shoot ride along. Got to find a way. I need to look and see if there's a way to mute it and everything when if I run some, you know, an ID or something like that. Kind of wanted to not blast out their information on all of YouTube. If I can't do that, I'll wait until I can find a way to better do that. But I'm going to attempt to do that tomorrow evening. Won't keep you from a whole 12-hour shift. I just thought I might run live for a little while and try that out. So, anyways, I'll go ahead and sign off. Quit rattling off at the head. But I just wish everybody all the best. Here's to good times and a warm pipe.